Okay, so y'all, what I'm doing here, I'm gonna make a video. It's gonna kind of be a long video because I'm gonna do a few problems in this one. So I have, I think I have problem 10 and problem 9 and problem 5. Okay, so let's take a look here. The first problem says we have two functions, f of x and h of x, and we're trying to find h of f of 3. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, when we're trying to find, the way I read this is h of f of 3. Okay, so when I see a problem like this, y'all, my first step is going to be I'm going to write h and then parentheses f and then parentheses 3. Okay, so remember order of operations, when we have a whole bunch of expressions or a whole bunch of parts that have parentheses, we always kind of have to start from the inside out. So the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to try to find f of 3. Notice what we have. We know that our f of x is equal to 4x minus 1. So we want to find f of 3. We're going to say, well, 4 times 3 minus 1. And that's 12 minus 1. That's going to be equal to 11. So f of 3 is the same thing as 11. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, well, look, let me find h of f of 3, which we just found to be 11. Okay, we also know that, let me do this, we also know that our h of x is equal to a negative x plus 4. So if we're trying to find h of 11 is going to be a negative 11 plus 4. And negative 11 plus 4, y'all, is just a minus 7. Or negative 7, right? So right here, y'all, I'm just going to put a negative 7. Okay? So look, let's try the next one. The next one's a very similar type of problem. So we're trying to find f of h of 4. Okay, so this is my process. F is the one is the first one, so I put that first. And then h, and then in this case, negative 4. Okay, so just like we did before, we're going to go with our parentheses from the inside out. So look, here's my h of x. So I know h of x is equal to a negative x minus 4, and we want to find h of negative 4. So that means everywhere we have the letter x, we're going to put a negative 4. Okay? So look, we have minus and minus. That's going to give me positive 4, and 4 minus 4 is just 0. So we know that h of 4 is the same thing as 0. So right here, I'm going to replace that, y'all, with a 0. Okay, now we want to find f of 0. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to say, look, here's my f of x. So f of x is a negative 4x minus 1. And we now want to find f of 0. So everywhere I have the letter x, I'm going to put a 0. So negative 4 times 0 is 0. And 0 minus 1 is just a negative 1. So right here, y'all, my answer will be negative 1. Let me clean that up a little bit, looks a little bit better. Negative 1, there's my answer. Okay. Alrighty, let's try number 5. Okay, so I want us to look at number 5 here. So number 5, y'all, has 4 parts. Parts A, B, C, and D. Okay, we're going to do part A. Part A says we're trying to find f plus g of 2. Okay, I want you to notice the operation in the middle. The operation is add, right? So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say, look, I'm going to find f of 2. I'm going to find g of 2. And we're going to add them together because we are adding them together right here. Now remember what f of 2 means. F of 2 means we're going to go to the x-axis when x is equal to 2, and we want to hit the f function. Okay, so here's x equals 2. I want to hit the f function. The f function is the blue one, y'all. So if I actually go up, I hit it, and that value ends up being 4. Okay, plus g of 2. I'm going to do g of 2 the same way. G of 2 is the pink function. So I'm going to go when x equals 2. And if you notice, we're already hitting the graph right there. So that number happens to be 0. So now we're just going to add those two numbers together. Again, because we were adding them here, we're going to add them here. And 4 plus 0 is just 4. Okay? Now look, let's do the next one. We'll do it the same exact way. Okay. We're going to do part B now. So part B says we want to find, f minus g of negative 1. Okay, again, we're subtracting, so we're going to subtract. We're going to find f of negative 1, and we're going to subtract g of negative 1. Okay? Now remember, f is the blue function, g is the pink one. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go to my x-axis when x equals negative 1, right there. I'm going to go up to hit my blue function. So when I go up and I hit it, that number was 1. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to x is negative 1, and I'm going to hit the g function. The g function, y'all, actually have to come, I got to come down this way. That is a negative 3, but we are subtracting. So I'm really subtracting a negative 3, right? Because there was a minus here. I have to put a minus here, and I have to put a minus here. So remember, minus and minus become plus, and 1 plus 3, y'all, just ends up with a 4. Okay? So look, we got two more parts. We're going to do them the same way. Okay, let's do part C. All right, so now I'm going to do part C. It says f times g of 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to find f of 0, we're going to find g of 0, and we're going to multiply them together. Okay? So look, let's find f of 0. So remember, f of 0 means I'm going to go to the x-axis when x equals 0. I'm already hitting the blue graph, right? We're hitting it at 0 itself. Okay? We're going to do the same thing for the g function. So I'm going to go when x equals 0. I'm going to go down to the g function. Hey, that number ends up being negative 2. And when we multiply them together, 0 times negative 2 is just 0. Okay? And then we have one last one to do. So let's go ahead and do it to it. Oops. Let's go here, and here we go. And now we're going to do part D. Okay? We're going to do part D. We're going to find f divided by g of negative 1. So the way I'm going to do this one is I'm going to find f of negative 1, and I'm going to find g of negative 1, and we're actually going to divide them out because we have a fraction, and a fraction means we're just dividing, right? So look, let's find f of negative 1. So I'm going to go over here to x-axis. There's negative 1. If I go up, hey, we hit the number 1. To find g of negative 1, if we go down, oh, we hit the number negative 3. So f divided by g of negative 1 is just a negative 1/3, okay? So again, that's question 5. And let's see, I know 5 had a few parts, and number 9 and number 10. Okay, if y'all got any questions, let me know.